stop. Don't scroll. Don't skip. Don't distract yourself. Because what you're about to hear might quietly dismantle one of the biggest lies you've ever believed about being a good person. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Not the version of you that tries to look mature, but the real version. Do you say sorry when nothing is actually your fault? Do you apologize just to avoid tension? Do you believe that saying sorry makes you respectable, mature, strong? If even one of those is true, then listen carefully. You've been trained, conditioned to weaken yourself, and you didn't even notice it happening. Because what if I told you that most of your apologies aren't making you respected? They're making you easier to ignore, easier to dismiss, easier to control. You were told apologies build bridges, but in reality, used blindly, they dismantle your authority, piece by piece. This isn't about becoming cold or arrogant. This isn't about refusing accountability. This is about understanding the difference between owning your actions and handing over your power, because those are not the same thing, and most people never learn that. Today you will. Section 1. When you apologize, you dim your presence. Pay attention to what happens to you when you say I'm sorry, not just externally, internally. Your posture shifts, your shoulders drop, your voice softens, your certainty fades. You physically contract, you shrink, and you think it's politeness, but it's not. It's self-erasure. Every unnecessary apology is a subtle message you send. I don't fully belong here. I might be a problem. I need permission to exist, and people pick up on that faster than you realize. Not consciously, but instinctively, because human beings constantly read signals of confidence and insecurity, and repeated apologies, they send one loud, unmistakable signal. This person will step back if pressured. So what happens next? People start stepping forward, over you, through you, around you. Not because they're evil, but because you've shown them there's no resistance. You become easier to interrupt, easier to dismiss, easier to overlook. Not because you lack value, but because you keep signaling that you don't believe in it. And the harsh truth? People tend to mirror the level of respect you show yourself. If you treat your presence like it's optional, so will they. Section 2. You train people how to treat you. Here's something most people never stop to think about. Every time you apologize when it isn't truly necessary, you are slowly, quietly conditioning the people around you. You're not just reacting in a moment. You're programming a pattern. You're teaching them without saying a word exactly how to deal with you. You're showing them, if you push, I'll fold. If you react emotionally, I'll step back. If you create discomfort, I'll rush to fix it, even if it's not mine to fix. And repetition is what turns behavior into expectation. So once people experience this pattern enough times, they stop seeing it as occasional. They start seeing it as who you are. And from that moment forward, everything shifts. They begin to rely on it, not always in a calculated or manipulative way, not always consciously, but reliably, predictably, almost automatically. They expect you to apologize. They expect you to soften the moment. They expect you to take the emotional weight off their shoulders. And when you suddenly don't, when you pause, when you stay firm, when you don't rush to say sorry, something strange happens. They feel thrown off, unsettled, even irritated. Not necessarily because you did something wrong, but because you broke the script they had memorized. You disrupted the role they assigned to you, and now for the first time, they're face to face with tension they can't outsource. Tension you've been absorbing for them all along. Think about that. For how long have you been carrying emotional responsibility that was never yours? Smoothing over situations that didn't require your submission? Fixing atmospheres that you didn't create? Over time, this creates a subtle but powerful imbalance in every interaction you're part of. You become the one who smooths things out, the one who takes the hit, the one who absorbs discomfort, the one who keeps the peace. But here's the truth that changes everything. Peace that depends on one person constantly shrinking is not peace. It's quiet control. It's a system where one person stays comfortable because another person keeps stepping back. And in that system, you're not the one in control. You're the one being controlled. Section 3. Your apologies build a story about you. Human memory doesn't work like a camera. It works like a storyteller. It collects moments and turns them into identity. So when you apologize often, people don't remember that one time you were late. They remember you're unreliable. They don't recall that one mistake you admitted. They recall you mess up a lot because your apologies highlight errors. They spotlight them. They stamp them. And over time, those moments merge into a narrative, a pattern, a label. And once a label is formed, everything you do gets filtered through it. You become the one who's always apologizing, which quietly translates to the one who's always wrong. Meanwhile, someone else who makes equal or even bigger mistakes but never apologizes gets labeled differently: confident, busy, important, unshakable. Same reality, different perception, because one documented their faults and the other didn't. Section 4. You become the default person to blame. Let's talk about something uncomfortable but real. When something goes wrong in a group, people instinctively look for someone to hold responsible. And if you're known for apologizing, you become the easiest target. Not because you caused the problem, but because you've proven you'll accept it. You've shown that you'll take the blame, even when it's not fully yours. So why wouldn't people default to you? It simplifies everything. It removes pressure from them, and it maintains the pattern they're used to. Over time, this creates a dangerous loop. You apologize. They expect it. You continue doing it. They rely on until eventually, even when you're not responsible, you still feel like you should say sorry. And that's when it becomes a problem. Because now, you're not responding to reality. You're responding to conditioning. Section 5. Not all forgiveness is what you think. You've probably experienced this before. You apologize. They say it's okay. And you think the situation is over. But sometimes, it's not. Sometimes, what you've actually done is create a record, a moment that can be brought back later, not always intentionally, but often conveniently, because people remember emotional moments, and apologies are emotionally charged. So later, during another disagreement, that past apology resurfaces, not as closure, but as evidence. Remember when you said sorry for that? Now it becomes part of a larger narrative, a pattern, a justification, and suddenly, something you thought was resolved is back in play. This doesn't mean people are always manipulative, but it does mean this: apologies don't always erase things. Sometimes they preserve them. Section 6. What this does to your mind. Now let's shift inward. Because the biggest damage isn't external, it's internal. Every unnecessary apology reinforces a belief. I'm the problem. I make mistakes. I need to be careful. I should hold back. And over time, that belief becomes your identity. You start hesitating before speaking, overthinking before acting, doubting before deciding, because your mind is trying to avoid future reasons to apologize. You become cautious, then reserved, then quiet, then invisible, not because that's who you are, but because you trained yourself into it, one apology at a time. Section 7. The power you've been ignoring. Here's the part most people never discover. You don't always need to respond. You don't always need to explain. And you definitely don't always need to apologize. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Silence, not passive silence, not avoidance, but intentional restraint. When you stop rushing to fill every awkward moment, you give space for something different to happen. Other people speak, other people reflect, other people take responsibility, but only if you stop doing it for them. Silence changes dynamics, it breaks patterns, it forces adjustment, and at first, it will feel uncomfortable, because you're not used to it, and neither are they. But that discomfort, that's where change begins. Section 8. What to do instead. This isn't about never acknowledging mistakes. That would be denial. And denial isn't strength. Real strength is clarity. So here's the shift. Instead of apologizing automatically, pause. Ask yourself, is this actually my responsibility? If yes, acknowledge it, but keep it clean, direct, no over-explaining, no self-degrading language, just ownership. Then move forward. If no, then don't apologize. Not out of ego, but out of accuracy. Because taking responsibility for things that aren't yours isn't kindness, it's misalignment. Final shift, your new standard. From this point forward, your goal isn't to eliminate apologies entirely. It's to remove unconscious ones, the automatic ones, the habitual ones, the ones rooted in fear. Replace them with awareness, with intention, with control. Because when your words become deliberate, your presence becomes stronger, your boundaries become clearer, and your value becomes harder to ignore. You were never meant to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were never meant to apologize for existing. You were never meant to carry responsibility that isn't yours, but you were taught to. And now, you're unlearning it, not by becoming harsh, but by becoming precise, not by becoming distant, but by becoming grounded, not by becoming dominant, but by becoming undeniable. So the next time I'm sorry tries to leave your mouth, pause and ask yourself, is this truth or habit? Because that one question will change everything.